and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Cunningham.
And we did it, guys. We made it through Christmas.
Woo!
Yeah, we did.
Yahoo. Let's never do it again.
And we're coming to the end of 2022, so we're recording this on New Year's Eve, although this episode is, it's already 2023.
This is
Welcome to the future.
Oh my God. What's it like? Oh wait, they can't answer.
Robots everywhere. It's chaos.
So this week we're going back to basics and we're reviewing a martial arts vanity picture that I'm going to guess you have not heard of, because I certainly had never heard of it.
I think it just popped up on a Letterboxd account of someone that I follow. I apologize if it was yours that I saw. And I was like, what is this? And then it was available on Tubi, and I watched the first few minutes, and when it starts with a quote by the writer-director star, you're like, yes, please.
Oh, yeah, I'm settling in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's from 2001, so it has a little bit of a 90s feel.
Yeah, 4x3.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed it wasn't shot on film. I think I assumed it was, because I love the shot on film vanity project.
Yeah, because everything was back then. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing you could kind of count on. It's like even the shittiest movies back then were shot on a film.
This is much cheaper.
Yeah.
They could not afford film. So this is Razor Sharpe with an E from 2001. And what's the name of the guy? Troy something?
Troy N. Ashford.
Troy N. Ashford.
And clock that name, because you're going to see it often in these credits. Story by Troy N. Ashford.
The opening quote, like you said, our destiny is not by chance, it's by choice. Troy N. Ashford.
It's a quote from him. Okay. I didn't even notice that the first time.
Justin just said that.
So this movie is on YouTube that we watched it, but apparently it's also on Tubi. So that's
Amazon, it's everywhere.
I wonder if the quality is higher on Tubi. Probably not.
I mean, it's as high as you're going to get from probably mini DV, which is what he shot it on.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Now, I'm not familiar with Troy N. Ashford, but looking at his IMDb, it's the classic, is an American filmmaker, producer, director, actor, stuntman, and martial artist. He is a mix of Native American and African American heritage, raised near, I can't say this, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. His childhood inspirations were Bruce Lee, of course, and Sonny Chiba. Talks about 11th Degree Grandmaster Red Belt, 2 Ninth Degree Black. So he wrote this.
For sure.
Yeah. What movies has he done stunts in?
He did one movie after this, and that's it.
Yes.
What? I thought he was a famous stuntman.
No.
So he's just a martial artist who wanted to do a movie.
Absolutely,
There's
yes.
3 credits.
Oh my God, it's a Miami Connection. It's a Shoonie B situation.
Mm-hmm.
He has one credit. His first credit was for a Bollywood movie. Second credit is this movie, Razor Sharpe, and then he did a movie after this called Unkillable, and nothing else afterwards.
Unkillable also came almost 20 years later.
Oh my God, yeah.
He needed to let the pot simmer until it was perfect.
Honestly, because
it's like Avatar, you have to wait. You get together a think tank of 5 writers, you come up with a story,
Because he plays a stuntman in the movie, I just assumed he was a stuntman in real life.
Well, his gambit worked on you, April.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you will notice right at the beginning of this movie that he's shooting a scene and he catches an arrow. And then we found out he's famous for catching an arrow. Not really.
Famous, quote unquote. But yeah, apparently this was his thing. He would do martial arts demonstrations all around the world. There was some I don't know if he has the Guinness
World Record for fastest arrow catch or something.
Is this a real record? Because there's
Who
a lot
knows?
of fake Guinness Book World Records out there.
You never know.
Where did you read that? Wikipedia?
It could have been his own Wikipedia that he wrote. But
what does it mean to be the fastest arrow catcher as well?
I don't know.
You either catch the arrow or you don't. Is it multiple people firing arrows at him and he's catching them all out of the air?
Maybe. How do you measure the speed at which it's coming at you?
Oh, you have a radar or something.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
That could work.
Yeah, you're right, April. It could be shot out of a cannon or something like that and he's catching it.
Or somebody could like lightly toss it to you and you could catch it.
That was
I'm
like
an
what
arrow
happens in this
catcher,
movie.
as Colin tosses me like an arrow. And
I
catch
have the
it out of
Guinness
air.
Book World Record for the slowest arrow catch.
I mean, his production company is called Blazing Arrow Entertainment.
Yeah,
Yes.
and later on in the movie, there's a scene with him and his roommate, and they make a big deal of this arrow catching thing.
Yeah.
That we only saw for 1 second, and it's not even in the same frame. Like there's just a cut of some guy firing an
Yeah,
arrow.
that's weird. It looks like someone could have almost like just gently tossed the arrow at him.
Yeah,
and then
it's like, oh, okay. Well, is this going to come back later? Because
No,
they made
it
such a
really
big deal
should
of
have. It really should have.
I was very disappointed.
I mean, the movie starts like all good movies should be on a blank room, and you're like, is the film paused? What's going on? And then the ninja falls into frame.
Yeah.
And we got this guy fighting ninjas, and then you quickly realize, okay, it's like on a film set. We're watching a film. As they do shoot films all in one take, fight scenes.
Yep, that's
Yes.
classic.
With no visible cameras anywhere.
And the guy who starts fighting, who's just some like doughy white guy, is so angry that our hero, is his name Razor Sharpe?
No, I think it's Justin Sharpe.
Justin Sharpe.
Justin Sharpe. I'm a big fan of action heroes named Justin.
Yeah.
And he's so angry. He's like, that arrow catch wasn't in the script. And it's like, how did that happen then? Like,
Yeah, did one of the stuntmen just decide to shoot an arrow at him and to see what happens?
Maybe he was supposed to hit a wall, and he's like, "No, I'm going to catch it."
I'm going to catch it. And then he breaks it. And then he throws it back into the guy's face. And the guy is very confused for a few seconds. Oh, what
now,
just
in
happened?
this scene, we're introduced to Troy's wardrobe, which I will be coming back to a lot during this film because it is very funny.
It looks like he shops at the same store as Billy Blanks.
Yeah.
Like he's got those like really oversized muscle shirts that have the neck holes are just gigantic and they go all the way
To
down to
show
like
off.
his navel.
His
His fashion in this movie is so of its time, I want to say.
there's a lot of like really baggy pants.
Yeah.
Clown
and
pants.
very short shirts with
Yeah.
like Pumas and stuff like that on them.
Well, I don't know about you, Justin, but when I get a shirt, I'm just like, this neck hole, it's too small.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to rip it open.
And
I rip it open.
It goes too low. I need to show like 1/10 of my ripped abs.
Yeah, I want to show like I want it all the way down to the belly button. You know what I mean? And it has to be really, really wide because I'm very wide.
But then later on, like at the end of the first scene, he puts on a blue shirt that's huge. He looks like a child wearing it.
Yeah, actually, now that we're talking about shirts, there's a scene later.
Okay, well, let's not
Okay,
spoil it.
but like,
not
let's
spoil
just.
it.
Oh, fine. We'll get to it later.
I want to like post that online. It's so funny. But yeah, he has those like elasticized baggy jeans. They're like acid wash that I don't know. He bought at like a martial arts store or those like weightlifting jeans that are like have like leopard print on them. Those type of pants. They have a name. I can't remember, but they're really funny.
And he also drives many cool cars, including one later on
Yeah.
that it feels like they rented. It could only drive 10 feet. One of his
red
cars has light up letters on it that says pure hell. I've never seen a car like that.
It's like a red Corvette that he's driving in the first scene. He must be doing really well for himself to afford
Even
these
though
two
that they're
cars.
filming in like abandoned
Yeah, abandoned
buildings.
sheds.
Every location is like completely barren of props or decoration.
No cameras because they probably only had one to film with.
Well, like plot wise, he gets fired from this movie set because the
star.
the doughy guy is like, that guy was not supposed to catch that arrow. He's making me look bad. Fire him and do it in front of everybody. This guy's very over the top, and I'm sorry he's not in the movie more because he was funny. And then the I guess stunt coordinator is
Director.
like, okay, I guess sorry, Justin, you're
and
fired.
And he keeps
Terrible
stressing.
acting.
He's like, make sure you fire him in front of all the crew. There are no crew.
There's no crew.
We don't see anybody.
We don't see them.
They were just like an abandoned cabin in the middle of nowhere. And then the star like walks off in a huff. He's like, I'll be in my trailer. There's no trailer.
No.
He's walking into the forest as he says that.
Yeah, and then like cut to him driving home, and he hangs out. I guess his roommate maybe.
Wait.
is-
We can't skip over these opening credits that play over public stock footage and
yeah.
also feature amazing credits like and introducing Troy and Ashford.
And like, there's such a noticeable change in quality from the
Yes.
stock footage to the current.
Well, did you
footage.
guys notice there's some shots that seem to be like many generations of like mini DV tapes for some reason?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
some definitely looked worse than
And I
others.
thought they were going to reveal that it was filmed by someone, like somebody was shooting on a video camera from across the road.
Wait, it wasn't?
It wasn't. That was the actual footage from the
my
movie.
God. Because later there's more like filming a movie shenanigans.
Yeah.
But they weren't really, or were they?
Yeah. So he gets in his amazing car, his vintage Corvette that says Pure Hell. Must have cost a fortune, by the way. But you never know it because he comes home to his completely barren house.
There's just a couch in the middle of the room.
It's like
Stark
it's
white
just
walls.
beige walls, and this grandma's couch. It's like this floral pattern. It looks like
I love
something
this
that
couch. It's basically like the third build actor in this film. We're constantly
It's
going
like-
back to it.
it's really the second roommate. you
Yeah.
know, after the
But
one
his first roommate, like all roommates do, tries to attack him when he gets home.
Yeah, it's like a Pink Panther movie or something. He's attacking Inspector Clouseau.
I guess.
And this couch, it looks like something that, you'd be driving by and it would be left on the curb.
Yes.
And you're like,
It
don't
probably
touch
was,
that. It's
dude.
filled with
Some-
bed bugs.
Dude, it clearly was. That's where they got it.
It's like someone's grandmother died and they're putting out her couch. All
And
it
the-
needs to be is like covered in plastic.
Yeah, this is like their friend is a real estate agent and they had an empty house that they can shoot in.
And
Yeah.
I only noticed this because there's nothing in the room, but in the corner there's like a bunched up bunch of clothes and the script on the ground.
I saw this.
I missed that.
It's the script with like highlighted lines.
Oh, that's what you want to see. That's what I want from these types of movies.
And there is a wide angle, and across from the couch is like this very small TV on the right in front of the fireplace, like it
Yeah.
would melt. And there's a set of shelves, completely empty shelves, with just like where he keeps his nunchucks and like tonfas and side blades.
his
and that's
weapons.
it.
Yeah, because at one point later he comes home to get his weapons.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
So that's
but
it.
yeah, so his friend's like, I can't believe you got fired. And they talk about, the whole arrow thing.
He will not let the arrow scene go. Wait, how did you catch an arrow? In the shoulder or the leg? This guy is really funny, by the way.
And he like disappears from the movie, right? Or does he get killed?
He gets kidnapped later and never comes back.
No, I think he gets killed because doesn't he go back to his home and he's like, no, but you don't see his face.
Oh.
He
There's
doesn't
a
get the
lot of
actor
that
back.
happens several times
Yes.
where people die, but it's off screen. It's completely off screen,
Yeah.
and it felt like we couldn't. And for instance, this next character we're about to meet, Daria, who is such a big character in this movie and is barely in it.
Wait,
'cause
he
keeps
first goes and
bringing
sees
her
his
up.
agent, and his agent is
Oh
like,
yeah, his agent first.
you gotta get ready. He stops a mugger because this, like all movies, is like a crime-filled wasteland. And it starts an editing scheme I've never seen in an action movie before, where the hero will kick or punch someone, and then it will cut to the person immobile on the ground. Did you guys notice that? That it's just like,
I didn't notice it, but I mean, I've seen it before in these types of movies.
it's very funny because it's like motion, and then it cuts to just a still shot of the assailant just on the ground, arms stretched.
I do love
Yeah.
it because his roommate is mugged like 1 foot from the front door of the house.
Yes, he steps out and is instantly mugged.
Is instantly mugged, and then Sharp comes home, just kicks him in the face, and then walks in the house, and he says, "Just drag the body out back."
And then we get, of course, a Sharp training montage that is like the classic 90s, like body beats style,
Yeah.
doing his thing.
Hey, he's really ripped, by the way. This
Oh,
guy
he's
is
huge.
like,
I
he
will
is
say, this
jacked.
guy, even his kicks and punches, very precise when the
Yeah.
action scenes happen. So,
He's really good. And one thing I did like about the action scenes is everybody is very competent that he's fighting, and they don't overcut it. It's
No.
not like edited to hell.
it's
like
no
an-
Sunny B style action scene.
oh, yeah.
No, but now that I know that this guy is not an actor, he is a martial artist. That makes sense. I don't think that these action scenes are shot well. They're shot terribly. But you are right, not over edited.
I'm happy, yeah. They're all kind of like wide shots where you can clearly see everything's going on. It's all kind of one take, which is
but
very good.
I didn't think the angles were good because they
No.
really, really don't look like anything is landing. You can tell it was shot by someone with no experience.
There's
Are
a
you
very
gonna-
funny shot of our star sitting in front of that couch wearing like a what is the term now, like workout clothes,
a
Tank top?
tank top. There you go. Yeah. All I can think of is wife beater. It's like, that is not what it's called anymore.
no, yeah, it's a tank top.
Yeah.
It is very low cut.
Yeah, like
Oh,
low
man.
cut, low cut again.
It's like the thong of tank top.
Yeah, yeah, it is because his like pecs are like pushing out through this thing.
He really works his pecs. Clearly, he's on that pec deck.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
now we
like
do meet, as April was talking about, the lady of the film.
Daria. So they're shooting at like an outdoor patio. It looks like it is a restaurant.
Yeah, this is really funny.
Because I was like, they're just in a park. But
she shows up.
no, it's-
First of all, it looks like it's high noon, in the middle of this completely empty park. And then there's just like a cafe, next to the park that they would have. This is
Yeah.
shot in Atlanta, I think.
somewhere in Georgia, if not.
She
Atlanta.
pulls up in a very, very stretched limo.
Yeah, a stretched limo.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that this scene was supposed to take place at like kind of a, it's an evening scene at a nightclub or something
Well,
like
she is
that.
dressed in evening wear.
I think April is right that this is not a restaurant, and they just brought salt and pepper to put on the table to make
what
it
I
look
said.
like a restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah. So a waiter comes up and she orders a glass of wine, and they have a very short conversation
Yeah.
where she goes, "I might have a job for you," and he goes, "Oh, like who's the director? Who's the producer?" And she goes, "I don't know any of that. Here's a name and number."
Just call.
Sounds
not
fishy to
suspicious
me,
at all.
but yeah, he's desperate for work after this public firing.
Yeah, but she does say, yeah, and he stresses that. I got fired in front of the whole crew.
And then
so
she gets in a car, and I was like, did she die? 'Cause
Yes. Well,
she gets in the
kind of.
car, and then there's a person in the back seat who says, it turns out she's Rick Cooper. That's the kind of doughy action star from the opening scene. It's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then the guy in the back seat says, yeah, Rick told me to give this to you. And then he just covers her mouth
With his hand.
almost like he's chloroforming her, but he's not holding a rag or anything.
That's right.
but
That's
you
like
hear a neck snap sound, like,
Oh, really?
okay,
yeah, you
so
do.
yeah, so later it's like she's dead, but we never see her again. So I was like, oh, I guess it happened off screen. So I guess it didn't happen off
No,
screen.
yeah, she dies
That's
there.
what was happening there.
Okay, it's not made very clear. It
You're
looks
supposed
like he's
to
just,
twist someone's neck if you're going to break
looks like
it.
he's just covering her mouth, and we both thought he was trying to chloroform her.
Yeah, but
But the funny thing is, before that, she does say to Justin Sharpe, this is high noon outdoors, and she says, "Oh, I had to talk to you before I went to the theater. I'm sorry, I must have dragged you away from dinner." And it's like, okay,
Dinner?
no, this is like noon. You're not going anywhere. This is not evening.
that's a small
Whatever.
thing.
So that's fine.
He's really, Daria haunts his dreams for the rest of the movie. He was in love with her.
I guess.
And then he like gets with her sister.
yeah.
So that's uncomfortable.
So he goes to the movie shoot, and he meets a guy with a camera. Did any of you think that this guy looked like Mr. Matchstick Flame himself a little bit?
Whoa, yes.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I was saying Gary Daniels a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of Gary Daniels, too.
But he does look like Match Flame
Yeah, he
guy.
kind of does.
Match-
Wait, we can't
Stick
talk about it. If we
Flame
say
guy.
it 3 times, they appear. So let's move on.
They this guy's pretty fun. So it's stressed that it's a guerrilla shoot, and that
Never a good sign.
Justin Sharpe, we're gonna pretend it's a bank robbery or something like that. We're gonna be filming you, and then we have to get out of there before the cops come and like shut the shoot down.
It's like a Hong Kong film. They never get permission to shoot on the streets.
exactly.
Yeah. They give him a gun and they kind of say, okay, here's your scene, go do it. No rehearsal, nothing. But I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that's kind of Hong Kong.
Yeah, so they're kind of
They
scoping
probably
it.
rehearsed what they were doing if they gave someone a gun to do an action scene.
Maybe. I don't know. You're the expert.
Debatable.
Not me.
So this is really funny. So the bank scene, and this is what I love about these types of movies, where the same thing from Fight of Fury, where you're introducing these very rich bad guys, but they all drive really shitty cars and live in shitty houses because that's all the filmmaker could get on
Yeah.
that day. So we see these guys pulling up. These henchmen, first of all, pull up in front of the bank with Uzis, and each one of them have get out of a car that gets worse and worse. So the first guy pulls up in a Mazda Miata, and then the second guy pulls up in some Nissan Maxima or something, and then the third guy, which is supposed to be the rich guy with the briefcase full of money, gets out of like this dodgy like pickup truck.
And right away, though, like our hero grabs a shotgun and just starts blasting people away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just shoots, and I just assuming that he thinks they're fake guns or whatever.
I guess.
But guys, did you notice there's real muzzle flashes in this movie?
Oh
yeah.
Pretty cool, right? I was impressed.
There was a funny thing. There are some like real explosions and pyro.
Yeah, there's some
That's
very not real explosions later on in the movie.
That was
coming up
That was
later.
so funny. It was in the end scene, and April kept stressing, oh, these are real muzzle flashes. And I'm like, I don't know, it might be like action pack.
And there's a real fireworks.
And
There's
she
real little explosions.
She says, Colin, they didn't have the technology back then.
to do like
I hate to break it
CGI.
to you, April. In like 2003, I was putting fake muzzle flashes.
Yeah, and she said that technology was not available to independent filmmakers. And as soon as she said that, a very fake-looking
Big
explosion.
fake fire explosion came out of
It looks like it was right off the action pack,
Yeah.
DVD. Oh my god!
I guess I felt like 2001 was a lot.
Yeah,
You could do that in
Longer
Windows
ago.
Movie Maker. You just make a
Oh, yeah.
transparent thing in Paint and then bring it in.
yeah.
That's a good point.
So he beats up everybody. He shoots all these guys, steals this briefcase, gets in a pretty fun fight with one of the henchmen.
Yeah,
who
he was
gets
doing
out
like
of-
backflips and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got flips. I was impressed with the flips.
Yeah.
Like not everyone can do that.
No,
So
but it's funny watching the background people because clearly they just shot it like guerrilla style in the middle of the street. And you
real
just
guerrilla
see
style.
all people like just staring at them in the background, looking kind of bored, watching to see what's going on.
So he goes back to, I guess, the production van or house or whatever, and then they're like watching the footage, and the Gary Daniels guy is like, well, guess what, Sharpe? We have that was real. We have footage, video evidence of you killing those people and stealing that money.
Yeah, they take him to Dario Argento's house where like everything's red and blue for some reason.
It's the typical like set. It's like all we have is like a blank room. Okay, let's put up some fake walls. Get some like
Some movie
some red and
posters.
blue lighting.
Yeah, and like harsh red and blue lighting, like
Yeah,
Suspiria's starting.
And two like fold out chairs that they just have in the middle of the room. And then they show him all the footage that they shot.
And these guys are all working for the other actor, the other guy that got him fired earlier, because he really hates him, I guess, and he wants to frame him for murder.
Yeah,
That's his
so
plan.
It's a
But the
very
funny- yeah, they-
complicated plan.
They show him the footage that they shot earlier from the robbery, and it's very funny because they seem to have a cut of the movie
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
just watched.
Multiple
Hey,
cameras.
It's a work print. It's a work print, okay? Like, we're going to improve this.
Multiple camera angles, editing, sound effects, and everything.
It's all
pretty
in
cool.
there. Yeah. I love it when that happens. So then we kind of get to the cops. Like we got new characters now. We
Too
got
many
two cops.
characters, I say. We should.
agree.
We want to
Oh
spend
my
more
God.
time with Sharpe.
Well, we didn't introduce my favorite character who shows up after the bank robbery. The British guy, Stevie Watson.
Is that his character's name?
This is the character's name.
The
This
the
is
crime boss.
This is the
Stevie
big,
Watson.
the big bad of the entire movie, and he might be my favorite character. He just shows up after this robbery. Some of the henchmen are still like alive,
Yeah.
barely alive, and he goes, "Where the hell is my money?"
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, he comes in because there's so many characters in this that we're introduced to like a bunch of bad guys. And then we're like, where's Sharpe? Then you're introduced to, he's like the weeniest British guy. Like,
Yeah.
how is he the gang boss?
Yeah.
April said he looks like Flea from Chili Peppers with just slightly longer hair.
a little more British.
Yeah.
And then so it's just him and his henchman, big guy. What's his name? Deathstroke.
No, it's like I forget his name, but it's like Elo or
He's also
something
like dressed like the Joker. He has like a purple blazer on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange, but he's like, "Where the hell's my money?" And then he shoots all the henchmen, and he says, "Well, I wasn't going to pay their healthcare costs." And he is kind of talking like Cobra Commander or the Joker.
It's very over the
And then he
top.
gets back in his car and he goes, "Let's go."
Yeah, he also kind of reminds me of the bad guy from Winter Beast. I don't know if you remember that, but there's
Oh,
a
yeah,
very
I
like
love that guy.
flamboyant guy in that, and it's just like this performance is so above. Like in energy, everyone else in this movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like he was at least a real actor, maybe a local theater actor.
It's funny because he's the only one that doesn't have a credit in the end credits.
Really?
Yeah, they don't mention his character name.
He went uncredited.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find the name Stevie Watson anywhere in the end credits.
That's weird.
So maybe he was just like, I don't want to be credited to this piece
Well,
of shit.
he's clearly not like a member of the martial arts school that Troy clearly either runs or, studies at. But everyone else is probably just friends and family and people that train with him, as is what you get with these types of movies.
And most of the henchmen are always wearing ski masks, like balaclavas.
Because it's like the same three guys.
Exactly.
But you look at those credits, there's like 50 henchmen in
those
this
are probably
movie.
fake henchmen, let's be honest.
Do you think? Some of them didn't have last names.
But it was just like 20 people credited as thug. It's like thug.
They just made up some of those names.
His roommate gets kidnapped. You don't see him get killed. But then you see Sharpe arrive at a different home.
So it's at the doughy white guy's girlfriend's house, Daria. He goes to meet her, and he finds her dead, I guess.
Right, okay.
Guess she got killed in the limo earlier.
But you don't see her face.
You don't see her face. And I guess they're trying to make the room look like, it's all disheveled and things are knocked off the walls.
There's one painting gently on the ground.
Very gingerly leaning against the ground because, his mother didn't like him messing the place up or something.
This definitely looks like your mom's basement house.
Right? Dude, the locations in this movie have a problem.
When he leaves, he's like leaving an apartment complex.
Yes, yeah.
Where was he?
They do that multiple times where they cut to the exterior and the door that he's leaving is not the same door. It's like
no,
you got it.
At one scene, he goes into his agent's place when he gets fired, and his agent it's clearly just a room inside of a house. Like it is not.
Well, they had the beta cams. They had the SP tapes on the shelves.
Yeah, but he kind of pulls up to an office building, and then he just goes to this room.
Tiny little room.
It's very weird.
And as he's leaving Daria's home, he gets attacked by a bunch of goons with very large sticks.
Yeah,
and as good a fighter as Sharpe is, him running away is so funny. He has his hands out, and he's like, I don't know where to go. What's going on?
It's true. And I guess the mindset is, I'm going to run to this other location so we can have this cool fight. But it just looks like he's cowardly running away.
Yeah. Also, he's really big. He's really wide. So
yes.
And in this scene, he's wearing those really comically large, elasticized jeans.
Hammer pants.
Yeah, he's clearly a lifter and not maybe a cardio guy.
I don't know.
But so these sticks just look like broomsticks.
They look like wooden dowels that you just get at Home Depot.
I mean,
and they don't.
I guess they were supposed to be Boken, but they don't look proper.
No.
They just look like crappy sticks.
And it's a fun fight, like in a mall square where there's hitting each other with sticks. Lots of people walking by, being like, "What the hell's going on?" Like looking at them.
There's one guy at the end that walks by with a briefcase. Like, what the hell? But they don't do anything to the sound effects for these little wooden sticks hitting one another. So they're just like tick 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 tick.
There's a very weird sequence where we're suddenly just at a strip club watching a real strip show clearly.
Yeah, because I was like, this kind of looks like a strip club, but doesn't. But they're clearly showing this woman's face and body, so clearly she, she consented to being in this movie.
I don't think so. I think she's just like, what's going on?
Gorilla.
There's only
again.
one angle.
Mm-hmm. It is, yes. And it kind of looks like it was in someone's shirt or something.
It's just to set up that we then see the British gang boss sitting in clearly Sharpe's mom's base living room.
Yeah. So he's been sent the video of the robbery. So he now knows that Sharpe was responsible for killing all of his henchmen.
So he's like, find out who this guy is to his henchman, his main henchman.
Yeah.
What is his name? He says his name like a million times.
I know, I forget his name. It starts with an E.
It ends in an O.
Elo
something
or something.
O.
Elo.
Yeah.
We get a very uncomfortable close-up on his face, though. And he's like, I want to send
eyes.
a message, a bloody strong message.
Yeah. Kudos to him for
he's
giving it all he got in this kind of crappy movie, but I feel like everyone is at least having fun in this.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like the people in it felt miserable or anything like that.
No.
They are in a movie and they're having a good time.
Does he have a scene where the big bad guy is shirtless by the pool? Of course, You're legally obliged to have him.
I guess that's later.
Yeah, he's got a Sean Connery chest of hair, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Holy Lord.
So a real Robin Williams.
So we he goes back to Daria's house to do some more investigation and meets her her sister.
I guess it's her sister. And they are now on the run from the law, I guess.
Yeah. He goes back to his house to get his tonfas and his, sticks.
I think maybe he's got... Well, so the Psy come in later. He comes back for a bunch of weapons, and they, the henchmen, are these stuntman's guy? Are these British man's guys? I don't know. There's just so many guys in this.
Yeah.
They're like, we knew you'd come back for these weapons, and then they have another fight, right?
In the front yard. I do love the henchman's car when they're backing out of Justin Sharpe's driveway, and their car is just squealing the entire time.
This movie has a hard time with sound effects. It adds your typical good punch and kick sound effects during the fight scenes, but all natural sound effects are in.
I love it. At one
Terrible.
point, Sharp opens the door, and you hear the like the door being opened sound.
Yeah.
And there always seems to be a gas-powered lawnmower going in multiple scenes.
Yeah, you gotta cut that shit out. They couldn't, I guess, or they didn't know to. I guess they didn't loop any dialogue.
We didn't even point out that the henchman he fights on his front lawn has the most hilariously large Pharrell hat that you've ever seen. It looks like it's swallowing it.
I don't remember.
Give me the biggest hat you have.
I thought it was a big zoot suit hat or something like that.
One level down from a sombrero, please.
Yeah.
And then we meet the bad guys. We meet the cops again.
There's a lot of jumping back and forth.
We need to get to the cabin that he spends a lot of the rest of the movie
Well,
at.
Yeah.
before that, there's a sex scene.
Okay,
No. That's after, because first he has a dream.
He has a
Oh,
dream,
that's
yeah.
so confusing.
So he goes back to his dead aunt's cabin, which I guess is his whatever. So they sleep on the floor.
And it looks like
I mean,
shit.
is this a cabin? It's a shed.
Yeah, it's a shit. There's a Bruce Lee poster on the wall, and it's a weird couch futon.
It's not even. It's.
Is
I
it
think
just a pile of pillows?
there seems to be a rolled up carpet with plastic on it, and every time they lean against it, you just hear
But yeah, what's her name? Not Daria is always facing the other way, and you just see her back, and she's like, "I guess I'm sleeping now," and he kind of cuddles up to her, and I guess has a dream.
which you don't know is a dream.
It's not clear.
No,
Where-
because it's the woman goes to a cabin, which we assume is supposed to be his aunt's cabin,
right.
and then she gets attacked. She fights back a little bit. Goons show up with guns and a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and none of them are wearing shirts, by the way.
That
I
was
was
a
telling
dream?
April it was like a David Dakota movie. It's
That's
all these
exactly what it felt
all
like.
these guys are shirtless and in shorts. Yeah, and one of them shoots a rocket launcher at Justin.
But it just very
Yeah.
a
It goes
little splash in the water.
yeah, it's like somebody threw a rock into the lake or something. It's a very gentle sploosh.
So this was
I have a feeling
they had this
that they-
location, so let's
They
use
ran
it.
out of time to shoot this, so he made it into a dream sequence.
Oh, you think? So we can only
Yes.
shoot half of it?
That makes
Yeah.
sense. It's kind of
Because
exciting.
it ends with him knocking a guy off a jet ski, jumping on the jet ski, and you're like, yeah, jet ski chase. Nope. He just drives off into the distance, and then you see him laying on this pile of, I'm gonna guess, asbestos. Just being
Yeah.
what a nightmare.
I love how he jumps off the deck and tackles the guy on the jet ski, and then when he comes out of the water, he's shirtless. He's not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
It's because the velocity that he hit the guy on the jet ski when he hit the water
It just
ripped the shirt
tore
off
his
body.
shirt off. It was
So,
it was already hanging on by a few threads.
If you're going to have a dream sequence, why would it be an action scene like every other action scene in the movie? Why
Yeah.
not make it interesting?
Yeah.
So I think your theory stands, Justin.
It's quite
Now,
possible.
can we say, following this an all-timer for the vanity sex scenes?
It's one of the
never
worst
seen a
I've
sex
ever
scene
seen.
shot like this.
No,
is.
that's like I said. So she's awkwardly facing the wall, almost like she doesn't want her face to be shown.
Or her
And the
boobs.
piano starts. It's like
And the sound effects that they did not cut out of I don't know, it's their clothing or the belt or whatever they're sitting on. It's
Well,
every
yeah.
time they move.
They're both wearing lav mics that are kind of pinned to their shirts.
So it keeps making that muffled mic sound too.
And she takes her shirt off, and it's all from one awkward faraway angle.
Yeah.
Then it fades to black, and then fades back up on the same angle.
Yeah, and then it does it again. And like they're not even kissing, I don't think. It's just awkward.
They're just kind of like their bodies are up against each other.
Yeah, they're awkwardly rubbing up against each other, but it's more like shuffling. Like it doesn't look like making out. It doesn't look like sex. I don't know what it's one of the most bizarre sex scenes I may have ever seen.
Yeah, and you just hear they're both leaning up against the crinkly plastic again. So it's just
like, was it not her? Because when we go back to that sequence, you see that woman again, but you never see her mouth. You barely see her eyes.
Yeah, you don't really see her face.
It feels like she didn't want to do it. So they got someone else to come in that kind of looked like her.
That's what I
feel like she's just trying to hide her boobs because she's topless, so she doesn't want to turn away. She's kind of awkwardly hiding her boobs.
But she's also seemingly hiding her face. Weirdly.
Yes. You don't see her face very much in it.
No.
Anyway, then Sharpe goes to the graveyard, and of course, he gets attacked.
This is so... Okay, we have to talk about this gravestone because this is supposed to be Daria's grave, but...
There's a name on the other side.
She just died like a day ago.
There was no funeral scene.
And Sharpe, when he grabs the grave, he's so powerful it like almost gets knocked over.
It's so funny. He he grabs it to stand up and almost pulls the thing right over. And you can clearly see the name on the other side, and it is not her name.
No.
Now, I've shot in graveyards before. It's very stressful because you can easily get kicked out of them.
Oh, for sure.
They are doing explosions in this graveyard.
Yeah. I don't know how they got away with that.
No, very quickly, I assume.
I suppose so, yeah, because they kind of run out to the cusp of the graveyard. You can kind of see the stones in the back. But full on like explosions, like practical
You can see on the grave that he's talking to that the person died in like 1887, it looks like.
On the Titanic. And then he like pulls, but he kind of makes a face when it almost pulls over. He's like,
oh shit.
Yeah. So strong. I almost pulled his grave over.
Oh God. So then we get to the final showdown. He goes back to doughy martial arts guy's hideout. He kind of realizes that he was behind the whole setup in the beginning, steals the money from his safe. By the way, the set is just literally like two fake walls.
Yeah, that was weird.
In the middle of a white room, and that's the set.
But you know that the climax is coming because he gets into a new car under like
a nicer car.
The very funny, like weird corrugated fake garage outside.
Yeah, it's just like a sunshade.
It honestly feels like he drives 10 feet and gets out.
Yeah. It's like the rental guy would not allow him to drive it any further.
Or maybe it was his friend's car.
Well, we have to say, though, before the final showdown, they call him up and they say, okay, give us the money. They've kidnapped the girl. We're going to kill her. And he's like, fine. He changes into his final battle shirt, which is like, I don't know, has like gigantic panther.
It has a puma on it, doesn't it?
This scene is probably, I mean, I can't say the whole end action scene is my favorite because it's like 30 minutes.
We're skipping over.
But the shirt scene might be my favorite scene in the movie.
He is putting on this shirt like he's never put on a t-shirt before.
It takes him so long because his biceps are so big.
Like he doesn't know which sleeve goes in which arm.
He tries.
He puts it on without putting it over his head, so he's trapped.
He tries twice to put it over his head. He's like, oh.
He's like awkwardly fumbling,
like being like, "Oh, is that the hole? Oh, okay."
And then it's like, "Oh man, I've never realized how hard it must be to put on a shirt for a guy that is that big."
Yeah,
but it's not just that. It feels like he's never seen a shirt before. And he's like, "How does this work?"
He's figuring it out in real time.
Yeah,
and he's trying to like pull it over his biceps, and you think. Oh my God!
Well, the movie is only an hour and a half. He had to fill up.
Do you think that was just
minutes.
padding? Like he needed
I think
to figure
it
out?
was. Yeah.
I would love what they should have done is like faded out in the middle of that scene.
Faded back
It's
in.
like Dune, the opening intro, where it's like, "Oh, we're still here, okay."
Yeah.
And then he's got like the shirt off again. And he's trying one more time to put it back on.
Yeah, so that's great. So we get to the final showdown, which is, it kind of looks like, I don't know, it's just like a series of outbuildings that are empty. Like maybe they were old stables or barns.
I gotta say, this climax is like the hard-boiled, the vanity film action climaxes.
It's kind of fantastic.
It's your typical, like, there's a million henchmen.
But there's a lot of gags. Like, you would expect in a vanity project like this that he would just run in, just punch or kick a guy. But, like, every new bad guy is like, "Oh, I got to figure out how to take him out."
Yeah,
like,
everybody's got, like,
dynamite
gimmick.
I suddenly have.
he has so many grenades and explosive things in his giant pants. He keeps pulling them out.
Yeah.
And we get real
They're like
explosions.
weird portals that he can reach into his pants.
Yeah, April said she was like, oh, now I know why he wears giant pants.
Yeah.
To pull out all these grenades.
We got real explosions.
Each villain is more fun than the last.
Yes.
My favorite, I'll make this my favorite thing. There's a villain wearing overalls with a purple shirt and a beret.
April said he looked like Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Waluigi. And during that sequence, there's a cut to our hero awkwardly climbing up a tree that they clearly meant for him to do like a Jackie Chan, but he couldn't do it, so you only get the end where he's like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like I said that like things weren't like competently shot earlier, but this sequence is very fun.
Yeah, it's really
It's
fun.
all fighting and like throwing explosive things at people.
Some practical.
Jumping off roofs.
Yeah. There's like these like sheds have like 2 levels, and when he first arrives, they're like, okay, give me your weapons, and he goes, okay, and he just
kills like 7 guys.
kills like 10 guys. Yeah.
The villains have a World War II like machine gun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they got it all.
It's like something you'd face on like the beaches of Normandy or something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, our hero picks it up and like holds it the way it's not supposed to be held, being like, "Oh,
It's great."
But like the funniest stuff happens later. So it's like all the stuff is outside, and then we move inside, and then guys just start coming in from nowhere.
Wait,
Yeah.
I can't skip a gag I've never seen in a movie before, where 2 guys are holding guns at each other's head, and they're like, it's over now. You're not gonna get out of this one. And our hero, like, tosses his gun in the air, which confuses the other guy, and he's like, huh? Which gives our hero time to kick him in the face.
Yeah.
The old toss the gun in the air trick.
That was great. We also forgot to mention, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this, but there's one where he does like a fake out like in the other direction, but he just moves both his hands out awkwardly, and the other guy's like, huh? And then he punches him.
Yeah, at least like he's gonna run away in another direction.
Find that clip and put it on Twitter.
I think it's
And
in
there's
the
a really funny
cemetery
shot
fight.
of him like walking against a corrugated wall, and there's like real bullet hits that go off, and he looks just kind of like slightly protrude. Like, oh, what? What's going on?
We forgot to mention that Justin Sharpe is like probably like 45 years old. He's not like a young, like hot guy. He's a little aging, which is kind of part of what makes this movie funny.
I don't want to, knock him, but he's ripped.
Obviously,
and
he looks great, but he's an older guy.
But he is very limber and fast.
Yeah.
I really hope that Justin Sharpe doesn't listen to this episode and thinks that we did not enjoy this film, because we enjoyed it a lot.
I was so entertained, especially
Troy, if you made it this far, we loved it.
Yeah, this last action scene is really entertaining. It's
honestly,
so fun.
because I was like, now that we're talking about it, like there's so much fun stuff throughout the movie, but while we were watching it, I was like a little bored up until that last like half hour.
Yeah.
And the last half hour blew me away.
There's fights like peppered throughout, but nothing like lives up to this. And it's like we haven't even gotten to the kendo guys yet.
So Kendall.
Wait. We can't skip over the guy that he kicks out of a building, explodes, and then his smoking boots are left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like literally a cartoon.
It's like a gag from Top Secret or something.
It's so good. Yeah, so we're like, this feels like a Naked Gun gag. The guys just start coming in the building. So you get a guy in like full kendo robes and I think it was either a bokken or a kendo stick.
It was a shinai.
It was a shinai, and then a guy comes in with the full getup with the helmet and everything. So he wastes these guys, and then like ninjas come in, and then like guys come in wearing sparring pads.
Yeah.
Like, and so he starts whacking them with the sticks and like whacking them hard because they're wearing pads, right? But it just knocks them out, even though they're wearing helmets and a
But
stomach
after
pad.
all of this, the only thing that can defeat Justin Sharpe is a slowly moving fan.
A slowly moving fan.
Yeah, he sees Daria all tied up.
Oh,
and he's behind like a red fan, and he's like, "Oh, I wish I could get to her, but I can't get by this little fan."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he
he's
says
like,
to
okay,
her,
stay there.
Yeah, he says, "Stay there." She is
tied
tied.
up.
She's
Yeah. And we also get 2 female henchmen here for the first time in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they're flipping all over. They're great. And he like shoves one of those girls' face through the wall, and she's just like awkwardly sitting
through the drywall.
standing there. I was like, oh yeah, he's not gonna like really beat them up. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
like her legs, like a cartoon again. She
Yeah.
like the legs just stick up in the air.
Yeah, she's like a lot of bodies and heads going through like drywall and like
Yeah.
leaving big like smashes into the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So, other actor, doughy actor guy shows up.
Rick Cooper.
And he's like, "It's time for our final showdown."
Yeah,
and
he
it
said-
lasts so. It's so short.
Yeah,
it's
he says, "Yeah, you've done well with the amateurs, but how about you fight me?" This guy looks like so out of shape and
Yeah.
skinny.
How is he an action star in this movie's
Yeah,
universe?
I know.
Like-
well, look at Steven Seagal.
Justin Sharp
true.
would hand his ass to him so fast. Like,
and he does.
he does.
And then he practically like pisses his pants. He's like, "Ah!" And then the British guy's like, henchman comes
Espo.
in. Espo, yeah, and he's like, "I killed my boss today." Yet another off-screen death. I would have liked to see that. I'm guessing they couldn't shoot it. They didn't shoot it. It got cut.
Maybe he left, yeah. But it turns out that this guy, the guy who plays Espo, is like a karate master.
in real
And
life.
then you get the real fight at the end.
yeah, even though
Yeah.
he's kind of big, but
He gets taken down really fast, I gotta say.
him as well.
Yeah, so he was like one of the choreographers, I think. He's credited
Yeah.
multiple times. But his outfit is really funny. He's wearing like this, I don't know what it is, like a
Those weird shirt.
it's like a kimono with like slashed arms, like
Yeah.
split arm. I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but it's kind of funny.
Sharp gets out of the situation into the final fight by just tossing a grenade in the air, and one of the baddies catches it.
Yeah, and then, he
And
just
then
runs
the
away.
other guy's like, "What are you doing?" And then they explode.
And then was it a CGI explosion there? Probably.
No, it was a real explosion
All right.
of Sharp
See,
jumping out.
Some of them are real.
Yeah, they're
Color
mostly real.
Color me impressed.
Yeah, I would say there's only maybe like 5 kind of CG
Yeah,
explosions.
and I think
Yeah.
that's maybe not.
It shows. I'm impressed, especially the explosions. I'm like, wow, okay, they're really letting these things off. But yeah, he's about to kill Espo, and then the cops show up. These are the two
The
detectives.
two detectives that we haven't really talked about. There's a lot of them just
Oof.
trying to solve the mysteries of the murders and like getting food. That's like their scenes. Again, that felt like filler, big time.
Yeah, there's a lot of exposition. They want to get to Sharp before Stevie Watson does, the big bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in the end because he's killed off screen by Espo. Yeah, he's about to beat Espo to death, and then the cops show up. And then from off screen, "No, Sharp, don't. We know you're innocent." And credits
Duke's
roll.
Yeah.
alive.
Credits roll.
Is that his roommate? His roommate's alive?
I don't know. It's never never
I'm
explained.
assuming so.
I assume he's
No,
dead.
no. I was just making the joke in G.I. Joe, the animated movie. At the end, a voice screams off screen, "Duke's alive!" And you're like, huh? Oh, you just added that at the end because you didn't want an Optimus Prime situation on your hands where Optimus
yeah.
Prime dies and it like scarred children.
But like, yeah, in the tradition of bad movies, especially bad action movies, just cut to credits. Like we know, what
No,
happened
that's
to
a
Daria's
good
sister.
movie.
Yeah.
No denouement. Just
Exactly.
we're gonna see the fight scenes from the movie in very slow motion.
Yeah. So we get the credits. I guess this was re-released in 2021. Which might explain the opening stock footage, why that looks
Yes.
so good.
You're
and,
right. That didn't look like it was from 2000.
And that was in 16:9 as well, whereas everything else
yeah.
is, I think,
I
4 by
didn't even
3.
notice.
But at the
Oh yeah, it says copyright 2021 Blazing Arrow at the end.
No,
You're
it
right.
does not say copyright 2021.
Oh,
at the
it
end.
does? Oh, no, sorry. It
says,
says copyright.
Copyright.
Copyright 2021.
Listen, I'm sure that Travis was doing this all himself, so I'm going to cut
Troy.
him some slack. Troy, yeah, not Travis.
Yeah, so that's the way you go out is misspelled copyright 2021. That is Razor Sharpe from 2001.
I'm excited. What is his other movie from?
It's much later. It's Unkillable, and Tom Sizemore is in it.
Does he star in it? Troy.
He does, and directed it.
Ashford. Okay. Well, if we can
It
find
may
that.
never have come out, though, because there's not one Letterboxd review online.
Weird.
We're gonna have to
And
find
Fred
him.
Williamson is in it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Fred Williamson is.
shit. Well, so it'd
Gotta
be
hunt
be
this
cool to
down.
see that if possible. So obviously we love this movie.
Yeah, it's really entertaining. It's only 97 minutes.
It's
I think.
90 minutes, so it's kind of your typical, martial arts movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
No.
It's a vanity project, but it's not like it's not like a skeezy vanity project where you're like, ew, I have to see like, you know, the main character be like gross around women. There's really just that one sex scene which is hilarious. And it's short too. He also, like, I want to say, like, it doesn't make him seem like the greatest man in the universe. He just is like a really good fighter, and that's just like the storyline of the movie.
Hey, that's all he wants.
He just keeps beating up all these henchmen and he's great at it, you know. So for that, I definitely give it points. It was on it's on YouTube, so it's free. You know, you don't have to seek it out or pay money for it.
Got real explosions. Did we all say our favorite thing? I liked the what is the, I don't know,
the shirt scene.
Lenny Watson, the shirt scene.
I like the Waluigi guy.
That guy. Oh my god. As soon as April said that, I was just dying laughing.
You know who Waluigi is, eh?
Yeah.
I'm the Nintendo fan in the house.
So yeah, that's it. It's super entertaining. Justin, you said it's on Tubi, right?
Oh, it's on Tubi, it's on Amazon. Yeah, so easily accessible.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube.
Amazon, and you can just search it. Just search Razor Sharpe 2001. So that is it for this week. If you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at nosuchthingpod. And consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. At the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks where we talk about various movies, usually new movies that's about half an hour long.
What are we talking about?
Of course, we talked about The Way of Water,
Avatar
2. The Last Airbender. No, the other Avatar. And also next week is our bad movie lottery. So if you're at the $2 level or up, you'll be all you have to do is subscribe and on Patreon, and you'll be submitted into the lottery to pick the next episode. So
I would love for April to do Avatar: The Last Airbender, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, because she'd be so furious the entire time.
Don't give them ideas, Justin.
Oh, that's right. That could be something that they
that
pick.
could come up next week.
Something tells me, Justin, you and I would never get a word in edgewise.
No, she'd be like, they changed this and this.
Well,
just
they
be
did.
like a rant.
They did. Anyway, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can follow me on Twitter, DeCluJ, DCLOUX, the letter J, and every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast.
And you can follow me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And yep, that's it for this week. So tune in next week. Consider joining the Patreon if you want to be submitted to pick the next movie. And also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm April Atmansky.
Happy New Year! I'm Justin the Glue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Woohoo!